Okay, instead of just understanding the shifts, let's say I wanted you to actually graph a parabola that's in vertex form. First of all, you need to know the vertex. The vertex is this little point right here. In other math, you'll learn that this is the minimum, or if it's an upside down parabola, you will learn that the vertex is a maximum. But the vertex is HK. Be careful. This H is opposite of what it may first appear. The formula is X minus and then the H. So the vertex, we will always be able to look here and know that the vertex is HK. And you will be filling this in. Does it open up or does it open down? If it's positive, if this out front here, if it's positive, it's going to open up. If it's negative, it will open down. Okay, in order to find the x-intercepts. Now, what are the x-intercepts? Well, if I was to have a graph, it's where it crosses the x-axis, wherever it crosses. How do I find the x-intercepts? To find the x-intercepts, I will let y equal 0. I will literally plug in 0 and do some math. And this, we're going to have to work out using, it's going to be a quadratic equation. That's what it's going to end up as. So I have to let y equal 0. That's why they call this find your zeros. Where does it cross the x-intercept? It crosses the x-intercept when y is 0. So if I plug in 0 right here for y, I would work that out. How do I find the y-intercept? Where does it cross the y-axis? Well, I let x equal 0. And the axis of symmetry. Okay, so if I have a parabola, and I want to know the axis of symmetry, it is a line. It's a line. It cuts right down through the middle. Guess what it goes through? It goes through the vertex. This is a line. X is equal to, and it's the H of the vertex. The H right here. So it is a line. That's the axis of symmetry. That's what cuts this in half. So once again, I need the vertex. I need this point right down there. That is the vertex. I need to know, does it open up or does it open down? That depends on if it's positive or negative. The x-intercept, where does it cross? Where does it cross? The x-axis. That means y is 0. The y-intercept. Okay, so to find the y-intercept, we have to let x equal 0, and then I'll find out whatever number this is right here. Once again, to find the x-intercepts, we're going to let the y equal 0. And this we usually have to work out as a quadratic equation. This one is usually a little bit simpler. And then our axis of symmetry is a line. So you have to put x equals. It's a vertical line that cuts right through the vertex. Okay, so let's graph this parabola. I know it's a parabola because of the quadratic. Tell me my vertex. Let's start with the vertex. And I'm hoping that you're saying it is -3. Remember, the H is opposite. That's really x minus a -3. And the K is a -4. So the vertex is -3, -4. Does that look right with our shifts? I would start here. I'd go left 3. That would be a shift to the left 3 and down 4. Yes. Does this open up or down? It opens up. Why? You see, there's just like a 1 in front of there. So it doesn't get any fatter or any skinnier, stretch, whatever. But it's not flipped. It opens up. It is positive. The x-intercepts, where does it cross this x-axis? I have to do some work. Okay, so I am looking for the x-intercept. So I have to let y equal 0. Now you know that f of x is just a fancy way to say y. So I'm going to let y equal 0, and that's going to equal x plus 3 in parentheses squared minus 4. How should I solve this? This is a quadratic equation. Do I want to factor that? No. You see how it's already partially factored. A great method to do here is to use the square root property. Do you see how I have something squared? Then I need to get this something squared all by itself. So I am going to get rid of this negative 4. How do I do that? I will add 4, but we know if you add 4 to the right, you have to add 4 to the left. So I will have 4 is equal to x plus 3 in parentheses squared. Now I have something all by itself squared. Now, just to make it a little bit simpler for me, I'm going to swap sides. That's not that big of a deal. I just like my squared item on the left. You don't have to do that. Now, I have my squared item on the left. It's all by itself. So I need to take the square root of both sides. And when you take the square root of something squared, it's just going to be that thing. If you look under the section with quadratic equations, there is a video there talking about solving quadratic equations using the square root property. So you can find more information on this. And if I take the square root of both sides, don't forget your plus or minus, and the square root of 4 is 2. I'm not quite done. I need to subtract 3 from both sides. So x is going to equal, now be careful here, this is not plus or minus 5. The 3 is a negative, and then it's plus or minus 2, and I will put those together. But the plus or minus is with the 2. So x is going to equal negative 3 plus 2, which happens to be a negative 1. Or x is going to equal negative 3 minus 2, which is equal to a negative 5. Now that's not an ordered pair. This is just the solution set negative 1, negative 5. I can write it in those squiggly lines. That means these are my two answers. These are my two x-intercepts. Or I can, so my x-intercepts are negative 1, negative 5, so I could write it up here. So one of them is negative 1, so the point is negative 1, 0, and the other point would be negative 5, 0. Remember, when I look for the x, what did I let the y's equal? I let them equal 0. Now we're going to look for the y-intercepts. How do we find that? We let x. So this is y is equal to, I'm looking for my y-intercept, so I have to let x equal 0. So y is equal to, what is 0 plus 3? Yes, that is just 3 squared. 3 squared is 9. So y is equal to 5. Okay, so we got, when we let x equal 0, okay, so we have our y-intercept, and remember x was 0, and we got y was 5. Now we could go ahead and do our axis of symmetry. Our axis of symmetry is a line, so it is x is equal to, and it's equal to the h here. In this case, it's negative 3. You'll see that better in just a moment. So let's start graphing this. We have the vertex negative 3, negative 4. So we go left 3 and down 4. We know it opens up. We have the x-intercepts negative 1, 0 and negative 5, 0. Look at there. You see how my vertex, it's the middle of the parabola. And sure enough, this x-intercept is 2 spaces to the right. This x-intercept is 2 spaces to the left. Where does it cross the y? The y-axis, 0, 5. That is looking good. So let's try to draw this parabola. We drew the parabola. Once again, the vertex, -3, -4. We knew it opened up. We knew the x-intercepts were -1 and a -5. The y-intercept, 0, 5. And the axis of symmetry is supposed to cut this right in half. It goes right through the vertex. So it's the line, and is x is equal to -3. That is an x equal line. It goes straight up and down. That's a vertical line.